Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host Tone Base. Yep, that's what I say all the time. I already see Nana's comment and I just read it out word for word. Perfect. In the US for maybe 2 more days and then it's time to leave again back to Eastern Europe where you guys can find me. Okay, let's not much to announce really. Let's go straight to screen share. Other than, I hope you guys saw the episode last night or yesterday evening on the Hyperwave YouTube channel. Didn't really expect it to go that long, but it was a great episode. Tyler joined, Socrates was there. We're already at 400 live viewers. Let's see how many we can get today. And get nice little scenery behind me there. I'm focused on me. If I move the camera up a little bit, I will be in the shadow. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, it still works. All right, cool. All right, let's do it. Let's go to screen share. Let's not waste more time. I'm on battery power, so our session today will be limited to the battery life of my computer, and I'm running multiple monitors, so we'll see how good that lasts. Okay, calendar has not been updated, so there's nothing on there for now. But I'm going to Ukraine on Wednesday. I will be speaking at BIP 001. This is the Blockchain Incredible Party. You can find me in Odessa for this event. Okay, lots of cool speakers, so it should be a lot of fun. Hey, Giacomo, haven't seen you in a while, buddy. I'll see you over there. I'll see you in Ukraine. Okay, that's what I'll be doing on Wednesday. Other than that, not much else is new. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing the workshops. I don't know what's going to happen. I may just take a break. I will be doing entries, exits, and stop losses, and I'll probably do a webinar on money management. And this way, there'll be 4 intro trading, TD sequential, entries, exits, and stop losses, and also money management. And that will be like my on-demand series that people can purchase. There'll be a discount if you purchase all of them, one of them. So the other one will be 0.05 as well. So you add that up, that's a quarter of a Bitcoin. So there'll be a discount if you buy all 4. So I'll probably leave those on. I don't know if there'll be more in-person workshops after Dallas. I got to reevaluate if that's what I want to keep doing. All right, enough of that. Let's go to the charts. Here's the monthly chart. This is how the month closed. This is the liquid index from Brave New Coin on the ticker here. And we discussed it last night. By the way, you really want to go and watch. Let me go to YouTube here. This is my YouTube. You really want to go to Hyperwave. And you want to watch yesterday's episode on Hyperwave. You want to watch this. It was a great episode. We talked a lot about stuff. It has, wow, 8,000 views. I don't know how that compares to their other videos. Yeah, it's about the same as their prior videos, so not much more. But you definitely want to check that out. I was on there for the entire 1 hour and 15 minutes. Okay. There's not much I can say about the monthly chart other than the sequential is telling me to be bullish. Consensio and moving averages are also telling me to be bullish. There is really not much on a monthly chart that is telling me not to be bullish at the moment. That is all I can tell you. But the monthly chart isn't our only chart. That's the Hyperwave chart. And I don't really have any comments on that. This is my long-term view. This is where I had my bull trap. Now, you guys have to remember that before I drew this green arrow, there was a little red arrow taking us down to 2,800. That's approximately where this line is. Actually, this line might be at 3,000. Let me see where it is. 2893. I'm not really sure why that's the number. It could be it's probably random. I'll make it 2350. It's where it probably should have been. Not that it makes that much of a difference. So yeah, everything else still the same. I just like round numbers for these things. So prior to me drawing this green arrow into the bull trap, I had a red arrow into this line and then the bull trap. Now, you guys also have to remember, when I initially drew this green arrow, most people disagreed with me. Almost everyone disagreed with me. I was one of the few bullish people at the time when we were in that $3,000 area. What had happened since then is that I was anticipating, and kind of still am, lower prices. So everything changed after we broke above 5,000 and ended up tripling to 14,000. During this green arrow, I was one of the few bulls. But afterwards, I was very cautious, and I thought that the bull run should have ended right there with another dead cat bounce. The market disagreed with me, and we continued going higher. And I remained cautious ever since, okay? Now, this is more of my long-term look. I continue to believe that it will be a lot longer to break 20,000 than the majority of the people currently believe. Let's go to the more recent weekly chart. The recent weekly chart, and I know I haven't done a video on my channel in 2 days, and I remember what I said. My memory is not that bad yet because I'm not that old. When we did the episode with Ugly Old Goat, the candle looked similar to how the week ended. And that is very, very bearish for the weekend, for the end of week. When I did a video 2 days ago or 3 days ago, the candle looked significantly different, and the price of Bitcoin was hovering in that, $12,000 to $300 zone or something like that. And that candle was no longer looking like a reversal candle. So at the time, if this candle was not closing as a reversal candle, I would have been bullish going into the current week. Now, during last night's video, the price was dropping like a rock. And I said that the week should close below 10,800. And it did. The week did close below 10,800, closed as a red candle. This is a horrible reversal candle. And while the TD sequential is still bullish, I am not bullish. This is a horrible reversal candle with follow through on current weekly candle, which is now trading below the prior candle's low. Okay. And that is very, very bearish. Okay. I see a comment from Jungle Inc. asking me to unblock him on Twitter. I almost never unblock. I also don't know what your Twitter handle is. So type in your Twitter handle, and I don't remember why I blocked you, but I'm sure I had a reason. So we'll see. Okay, so now what we have is a bearish posture on the weekly scale, but the TD sequential is still bullish. Now that's probably going to change very, very soon, right? Now we're counting 4 candles back. So next candle needs to close at a brand new weekly high. Otherwise the count flips. I would not mess with this reversal candle, and I would not want to be long in this market right now. Someone's asking me if I sold at 9,800. No, I was traveling. I did not get to sell at 9,800. As much as I wanted to sell over the last couple of days above 12,000, I didn't get a chance to do that either. So it looks like I'll be hodling even if Bitcoin does go down into the 80% range. I don't really care about the 2-week chart. I can look at the 2-week chart. I don't know if it matters. I don't really like random time frames because I got to add more things. I'm going to delete it in a minute. It doesn't want to load. And I'm also sitting outside, so I guess playing around with settings is not a good idea. Calculation timed out. What's going on? Remove the indicator, then reapply. Great, perfect. I don't know what's going on. My indicator is not showing me anything. And this is not loading either, so. So sorry, guys. Looks like my charts aren't updating. I can try a different Wi-Fi signal, but and sequential is not loading, so I don't know what to do here. Well, I can tell you what it is. That's a 9 candle. That's a red 1, and that's a red 2 going below a red 1, which is what I mentioned on last night's channel on Hyperwave, and I said this is very, very bad. So remember, I am still looking for my 40% correction. I will never become a bull until I have a 40% correction and evaluate how the market reacts to it. So I'm waiting for that 40% correction. And I think we're finally going to get it. So right now, we're down about 25%, 28%. We are down 28%. Honestly, I just need at least 30% down. But it needs to take more than a week to go down 30%. It hasn't taken a week yet. It's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. So I need at least 5 days of downside, and I need at least 30%. Now, ideally, I want to see this at 40%. I really want to see this go down 40%. And I want to see it go down for at least 2 weeks to get there. I don't want it to go down there right away. I still don't understand why I can't get calculations. Oh, I'm afraid if I reload, it may not load at all, but I'll try. Let's see what happens. Hey, here we go. We're in business. Okay, so there it is. Oh, we moved up a little bit here. Yeah, the chart got frozen. So we are now at 10,365. So it looks like we're rebounding. Here is the 12-hour chart. The 12-hour chart is very bearish according to sequential, and it does have a setup trend support line at 9,200. I'm really curious about the 4-hour chart. Wait, so what is the price of Bitcoin? Again, I don't know what's going on with my... Okay, so we are back up at 10,300, almost 10,400. And how far did we fall? This was a 9 candle on a 4-hour, by the way. So I'm not surprised we're rebounding a little bit. Look at your CMF. Your CMF has just gone bearish. That has not happened on a 4-hour chart since briefly back in June 10th. And wow, so it's been almost a month. And that's not a good sign. The RSI still has room. The MACD still has room. Like your momentum indicators on a 4-hour are just starting to go bearish. Now we have just gone lower. So the current low, we are down 28%. That's not enough for me. I need a bigger pullback. 28% is not enough. I need a bigger pullback to reevaluate this market. I'm ready to become a bull. I just need a pullback and its reaction. Is this 9 on a 4-hour enough to reverse the market to new all-time highs? I don't think so. We've just broken setup trend, and we did rebound off the bottom of this 9. But this is the kind of 9 I would anticipate would give you a 1 to 4 candle correction to the upside, maybe. And then you enter the countdown phase. Now, the 4-hour does have some support at 9,300. We also see support at 9,200 on a 12-hour. Now, this seems reasonable to get there to 9,200 over the next 2 to 3 days, while the 12-hour gives you a 9 in the low 9,000s. That would actually be enough for a correction. Now, just like when we were in the bear market. Oh, let me scroll back up here. I'm looking at your comments, guys. Yeah, 28% is not enough for me. I need at least 30%, which probably means I need more than 30%, being closer to 40. Also, it's not always about price. It's also about time. So I also need this correction to last more than 5 days. And so far, it's been less than 5 days. So there's more to it than that, right? It's not as simple as 28% is almost 30%. I want to see it go lower. This is not enough for me. I really want to see this go to at least 9,200. 9,200 is a reasonable place to reverse and go to new all-time highs. I think the more likely outcome is it falling all the way down to the $6,000 area and then reversing from there. That's the more likely outcome. Ideally, I'd like to win my bet against Crypto Man Ran of Crypto Trader, in which case I need Bitcoin to fall below 4,500. That would also mean I win my bet against Peter McCormick. So I kind of would like it to go down there, but the unfortunate situation or the unfortunate reality of the situation, I got to refresh this chart too. The unfortunate reality of the situation, so I can't look at your 2-week chart. The unfortunate reality of the situation is that if we fall below 6,000, I think we're going to go all the way to new lows. I find it hard to believe that Bitcoin will find support between 3,000 and 6,000. To me, that is a little bit unlikely. I don't think that it will. It could, but the probability is not there that it would. And that's why this 80% correction is drawn in. By going exponential into 14,000, we've increased the odds of going down to 2,800. And I think 2,800 would probably be it. I'm not expecting sub $2,000 prices at this point. I think those are unlikely to happen at this point. But 2,800 is not unlikely. 2,800 is still very, very possible, even though most are in disbelief and can't imagine it happening. And the thing is, if you can't imagine something happening, then it has a high probability of happening. If you're not prepared for Bitcoin going to 2,800, then you could be in a lot of trouble financially. I don't think that 4,200 is support anymore. 4,200 was great support as Bitcoin stayed under 7,000. But now that Bitcoin has gone all the way to 14,000, going down to 4,200 is too close to the prior lows, in which case we either need to stay significantly higher than 4,200 or we're most likely going to break through it. Remember, if we come back down to 4,200, not even the 200-day moving average is already going to be above it. We're not going to go to 4,200 tomorrow. So if we get to 4,200, it's probably going to be like in September, October. And by then, the 200-week moving average will be up in like, you know, the 47, 48 dollar range, most likely. And because of that, it's very unlikely that there'll be any support at 4,200 from this point in time. People don't realize that all of these numerical values of support and resistance, most of them are very dynamic, and they're very dynamic based on the latest price of Bitcoin. Someone is asking me if it gets to 2,800, how long do I think it's going to stay there? I think it won't stay there very long. I think that if it gets to 2,800, I think it's going to wreck so many people that they won't have any money to buy back in. And if they don't have any money to buy back in, then it's going to go up without them. So I'm going to go to the S&P 500, and I will say that if we do fall to 2,800, I'm expecting this kind of a reversal. I'm expecting a V-shaped reversal from that area. You can also go back to the March 2009 in the stock market, or we can go, you know, over to the like this, right? So if, let's say, if this dip is 2,800, and then this dip 2 weeks later is let's say 2,700, and then I'm expecting an immediate swift reversal. But at this point, no one wants to buy Bitcoin. Like, everyone hates it. Someone says, back in December 2018 on video, Cliff High forecast 1,200 to 2,800 for June to August 2019. Okay, well, we'll see if he's right. You know, I don't know. Okay, a question from Ben. Tone, are you gonna buy at 9,000? I don't know, right? Because I don't know how it's gonna react at 9,000, right? If it reacts like this, like at 9,000, right? Like, let's say if this is 9,200, this dip, let's say this dip here is our current $10,000 dip, right? And then this dip here is 9,200. And this dip here is 9,150. Am I going to buy it? Well, if I have a 9 and I have a reversal candle and I see good volume going to the upside, yeah, I might be buying at 9,500, right? But I need an asset that's actually falling in price, not rising. Maybe gold or silver or something. Silver, probably. I think I closed silver. But here's the thing, right? If 9,000 looks like this, if this is our current $10,000 area, and Bitcoin breaks through 10,000 and immediately falls down to 9 and then consolidates at 9, there's no way in hell I'm buying at 9,000, because then I would be expecting one of these, a fall down to the $6,000 to $7,000 area. And then I'm happy to buy off of that area if it starts to bounce. Like I don't have any limit order set to buy at 9. I never do that. I know Tyler does, but I don't. I trade differently than Tyler. Well, I used to trade differently than Tyler trades now. I would never set a limit buy order at 9,000. I would set a stop limit order at between 94 and 95. Stop at 94, limit at 95 after I see a bounce off of 9,000, because I don't assume it's going to bounce off of 9,000 and go to new all-time highs. I have no idea what it's going to do. All I can tell you is we are grossly overvalued on Bitcoin. I never trusted this rally to begin with. We have not had a 40 to 50% correction in a reasonably long time. We are way overextended above the 200-day moving average. And all of this mounting evidence tells me that there is downside here. I don't know how big this downside is. It could be as big as 80%. It could be as small as 30%. We're already at 28%, so we've almost reached my minimum target. Now, we could also miss my minimum target, and we can start to go up from here. If we start to go up from here, when would I be short-term bullish? Because I am not intermediate-term bullish right now, and I am long-term bullish, but I am intermediate-term bearish. And when would I be, and I'm short-term bearish right now as well. When would I be short-term bullish? Probably if we go back up above the 9. Like if we go back above 12,400, I will then be short-term bullish, but I will still be intermediate-term bearish. I will remain intermediate-term bearish until one of the following two things happen. We break all-time highs or close above the 62% Fibonacci line, which we didn't do, by the way. So not only were we not able to close above the 62% Fibonacci line, we were not able to close above the 50% Fibonacci line. Now, in reality, I don't really care about the 50% Fibonacci line, not really on my priority list. But if we close back below the 38% Fibonacci and below this moving average on a weekly scale, which is the 7 period, that is going to concern me greatly. Let's go back to gold for a second. Gold broke and closed above its 38% Fibonacci line, but now it needs to hold it because gold has the same problem that Bitcoin does. If gold comes back down and closes back below the 38% Fibonacci line and its 7 period moving average, gold will be concerning to me. It's not overly concerning to me as long as it stays above 1350. That is the prior swing high right here. But if gold falls below 1350, that would be of great concern to me. Again, I still remain very puzzled why gold never went sub 1,000. And if you don't believe that gold can go sub 1,000, again, you should reevaluate your you have to expect the unexpected. You have to be prepared for unexpected. If you're not prepared for gold being sub 1,000 or Bitcoin being sub 3,000, you will not last as a trader. You'll do okay in a bull market, but you will eventually lose all of your money. I can't really elaborate on the fundamental space. I mean, I don't know what's going on, because if you haven't noticed, every 2 days I'm on a 9-hour airplane flight without internet, right? Like I don't even have time to do daily shows anymore. I don't even know what news is going on. I was doing my Russian show this morning, and the other time is spent at conferences or doing interviews or being interviewed by people. The only way I can actually catch up on the fundamental news is if I stop traveling, stop speaking, stop accepting interviews, and stop answering people's questions. I can catch up on the fundamental news. What I can tell you is Bitcoin from a coding perspective couldn't be any stronger. And shitcoins, from a coding perspective, couldn't be any shittier. So that works well from a fundamental perspective. But what's going on with Fidelity and Bakkt, and I think China is now open to Bitcoin instead of being closed to Bitcoin a month ago. I don't really know the details on what's going on, and I will trust the technicals. I don't mind. I actually do want to take a look at Uber because I started looking at Uber. Let me see. I'm curious how Uber is doing. Like, I don't really care about the fundamentals of Uber. I couldn't care less. I just care about what the chart looks like, and the chart doesn't want to load. So that's unfortunate. So I don't really know what to do about the situation. Try one more time. There it is. Oh, Uber's down. I wouldn't be in it. I wouldn't like this move. I would take my break even. I would have been out of Uber already. Again, you got to recognize the swing trade versus a long-term hold. To me, whatever happened this morning in the stock market wasn't good. What did happen in the stock market? Stock market's pulling back, but it's still above Friday's close. Here's the weekly chart. The weekly chart is still good, so Uber is grossly underperforming the market. I would need to look at a 10-minute chart here on Uber. But I would not be in a losing position. Those that attended my workshops know what my rule number 3 is. I'm not going to tell it to you guys because by the webinars. But my rule number 3 of trading would not have allowed me to still be in Uber. So I would have been out with a profit. Let me see what happened this morning. All right, so here is the open. We opened right at the setup trend line on a 10-minute scale. And then we did nothing but trade down. Somewhere over here on this red 3 going below this red 2, going below the consolidation of Friday's rise would have gotten me very, very concerned. So there is a high probability that if I was swing trading this, if I bought call options on Friday on Uber, I'd still be in that trade. But whoa, not what I wanted. So here, this area here, I would have found very, very concerning. And considering I would have gotten into Uber at this blue line, I would have been totally out of Uber, somewhere between the purple and the blue, because I would rather put that money to use somewhere else. I would have expected Uber to go to new all-time highs today, but it did not. And that concerns me a lot because the stock market is at new all-time highs and Uber broke out on Friday. And if I did not get into Uber on Friday, at no point would I have gotten into Uber other than right here. The only if this is that here, that's that 3 candle following the 2. Now my stop loss on that trade would have been right at below the wick there, or potentially below this moving average, but I wouldn't be looking at moving average on a 10-minute scale. And right now we're on a sequential 13. So if I did not have Uber, my next entry into Uber would have been here at 44.66, and my stop loss would be there. Now, the difference between my stop loss and my entry is how much? It's let's say 15 cents, right? Now the question now becomes, did I make 15 cents from my entry? If I got in at say 44.66 or 65, how high did we go? We went as high as 44.95. That means I have made more money than I was risking. That means that I would have already raised my stop loss to break even. That means I would no longer be in Uber, even though I bought in here, because the reason I'm buying here is because I'm expecting Uber to go back to the high of day. And when it doesn't, I need to get out of that trade, preferably with a profit. Now we're starting it to go up again. Now, if I never raise my stop loss remains down here. Now, if I'm out of Uber, and I know this is probably getting confusing, if I got into Uber at 44.66 and I took the stop loss at say 44.70 because it did not continue going up, I now see a nice green candle. I will wait for one of the following two things and ideally watch them happen at the same time. A green one followed by a green two going higher than that green one at 44.80. So I wouldn't mind potentially picking up Uber in that area of 44.80 as it breaks the last swing high on a green two above a green one off of the sequential 13. But also keep in mind, there is another sequential 13. We're also dealing with 10-minute charts. If you go to the daily charts, which is how you're supposed to be looking at this, and I'm going to delete that little line. The daily chart does not look good. I would rather wait. I would wait and see if this moving average will bounce it again. Because right now, this is looking like a terrible head fake breakout. Because throughout the life of Uber, it's basically been in a nice ascending triangle since inception. Yes. That is a very nice ascending triangle. And we broke out of that triangle, and the anticipation, Uber would rise from, looks like from 37 up to 44, 45 even, right? So that's $8. So my target would have been $8 higher. And it failed the following day. You have to recognize that your trade is not doing what it's doing and still get out of it with a profit. Now, imagine how good your trading will be if every failed trade you've made still made you money. A little bit of a long tangent on Uber, but there you guys go. This is the, like, I still think we're going lower. I mean, like, again, I know I sound like a broken record. I need my 40% correction to reevaluate this market. I don't think it's real. I think it's bullshit. And if 40% doesn't bounce it, then we can go down, 50% or 60% or 80%. I need the technical picture to be medium to long-term bullish. And right now it's not to me. It doesn't matter how high the price rose. Oh yeah, I don't know what the hell happened over there on Bitfinex. What is this? Oh, it's the 60-minute chart. Yeah, guys, the hourly chart on Bitcoin, all my charts got frozen. What the hell is going on? The hourly chart on Bitcoin still looks bearish. What you're dealing with right now is potentially this 1 to 4 candle correction off the 9 and I think it's going to be very short-lived. This is already starting to look like another red candle. If this candle closes at a new 4-hour low, you're going down. I don't expect this low to hold today. I expect this low to be broken at some point today or tomorrow. It doesn't have to happen, but that's what I'm anticipating right now. And I showed this on Tyler's channel yesterday. This is how many people are searching for the words buy Bitcoin, and it's very, very little. I don't know if this is bullish or bearish. Socrates seems to think it's bullish. I'm not so certain. But the price has rose and nobody cares. So I can spin it as a bearish way of saying this was just internal money pumping the price. So maybe guys like Novogratz can sell at 14,000 because maybe he realized that holding Bitcoin through the bear market was a terrible idea. And he's getting out while he can. This rise cannot possibly be phase 6 of the hyperwave. Please brush up on your hyperwave. Hyperwave, phase 6 is very short. It only lasts a couple of weeks. Tyler even disagrees with me that the move from 20,000 to 6,000 that took about 2 months to accomplish was phase 6, because even 2 months was too long. And you're talking about a phase, because this was what I thought phase 6 was. The move from 6,000 up to 12,000 in February that took place 2 months after the high. And Tyler says 2 months after the high is way too late. It has to happen within the month. And you're asking for a phase 6 to be a year and a half later. So that's completely out of the question. I'll say it again. I do not expect Bitcoin to be at new all-time highs this year. I don't. Can it happen? Of course it can. Do I give that a greater than a 50% chance that Bitcoin will be at new all-time highs this year? I do not. I need Willie Wu to look at the NVT because Willie says that the NVT that is in TradingView, this one here is inaccurate. So I need Willie on this channel to talk to me about NVT. But he says whatever they're using over here is inaccurate. But if enough people use it, it doesn't matter if it's inaccurate or not. It's still a trading signal, and it's about to go out of overbought. And the last time it went out of overbought, Bitcoin crashed 50%. So we'll see what happens. As you can see right here, NVT stayed high as we were consolidating at the low. But the last time, and I know this NVT is inaccurate. I'm just showing it to you anyway because others are using it. And right here, NVT went overbought at an exponential rise, and we had a massive 80% correction in total. So we'll see what happens here. Thank you, Michael, for your comment and donation. I don't really want to look at the 21-day moving average, guys. Well, if it works for you, just use it. You don't need me to look at it. It either works or it doesn't work. I'm keeping an eye on this 4 hour. The 4 hour is starting to pull back again. This is not a very good 9. This is not a 9 you should buy because it's not a reversal candle. It just broke setup trend. You're in the middle of a bigger downtrend right now on the short-term scale and possibly intermediate scale. Look, you couldn't even pull back into the death cross. I mean, Bitcoin is just very weak right now. And I think once it goes below 10,000 next time, today, tomorrow, I think it'll accelerate to the downside. We've already touched under 10,000. So it looks like there were a lot of buys. There were a lot of limit buy orders probably set at the 10,000 area. But a lot of them are going to be underwater soon. And they're going to might panic and take the losses. So I'm pretty bearish here. But I've been bearish for a while, so nothing should change. Yeah, here's the hourly chart. You had one good hour. Yes, it's a reversal candle, but it's a reversal candle in the middle of nowhere. Granted, 10,000 is a nice round number, but like I've been saying for a long time, 10,000 doesn't seem to be relevant to Bitcoin. So it doesn't matter that 10,000 is a nice round number. You're asking me what percentage of my total trading account would I put on a single trade. This is what I teach. This is what I talk about in my workshops. This is what money management workshop I'm teaching is going to talk about. So I don't really want to. I give away enough free shit on this YouTube channel, so I choose not to answer that one. Oh yeah, longs versus shorts. That's where I was headed. Bitcoin dominance is starting to fall back a little bit. And again, for the bear market to end, this needs to be upwards of 80%. The amount of shorts have cratered on Bitfinex. I don't know if they're keeping good statistics. I don't know what that means. Remember, BitMEX funding rate remains positive. That favors the bears. Now, there were lots of leveraged shorts, but all of them seems to have disappeared now. This also now favors the bears. Now, leveraged longs have also disappeared, right? So it looks like leverage trading on Bitfinex is slowly disappearing. In either case, the ratio of longs to shorts is now at a level that favors the shorts. I don't know what caused it to drop so quickly. It could be, Bitfinex changing statistics or actually doing an audit or an accounting. Like, I don't know how legit the statistic is, right? Like, I don't know. Anything could have caused it. Or 80% of trading on Bitfinex is one guy. Novogratz, right? Got out. Or he hedged his long with a short. Who knows? He was hedging his long with a short. He just took profit from that short. Who knows? That's it pretty much for me, guys. Ethereum, I think Ethereum is toast. I think Bcash is toast from a TA perspective. I don't have a chart of Bcash, but I've said these things before. I think Litecoin is so useless and meaningless. I'm going to close these charts. I want to see my tabs again. I don't really care about Litecoin at all. I would love to go all in on GBTC at a low premium. And by low premium, I mean down in less than 10% premium. And ideally, the price at like $3 or $4. Mining profits. Mining profits look very, very good right now. I always expected it to come back and touch this line and maybe even break this line. So we'll see what happens. Gold. Gold is not looking too hot at the moment, but as long as it stays above the Fibonacci line, it's bullish. Oil is also not looking very good on this drop. US dollar is starting to rise. If the US dollar goes to new all-time highs, which I believe that it will, gold is in serious trouble. Anyone talking about the collapse of the dollar is crazy. They're just crazy. Look at what the dollar has done in the last decade. If we break out above this area of 98, I mean, we're going to new all-time highs, guys. And the euro will drop past parity. Still waiting for the euro to close below the setup trend line. Look how relevant the setup trend line has been. 1, 2, 3. 3 hits of the setup trend line without breaking it. We rallied a little bit, and now it looks like the dollar is rising, the euro is falling. I think gold was mostly just a beneficiary, a short-term beneficiary of the US conflict with China and the dollar weakness. I just don't see a bull run in gold yet. Even though from a TA perspective, you should be in a bullish trade. It's from a fundamental perspective that I think gold's not a good investment right now. And silver is just a terrible investment. Yeah, so Uber is still going down. Let me go back to the 10-minute chart. Yeah, so I would not be long Uber in any way, shape, or form. Worst case scenario, my stop loss is on the verge of being hit, and I am 99% confident it will get hit. That's why I would have already been out of this trade. If I was a long Uber on Friday at a perfect spot, if I was a swing trader or even a day trader, I would have paid attention to Uber this morning when it opened, which I didn't need to because I wasn't in the position. I am itching to trade again, but this also means these videos will probably stop. So we'll see what happens. Someone says dollar is guaranteed to lose 2% of its purchasing power every year. Sure, but every other currency is guaranteed to lose 3% of its purchasing power every year. So what does that mean? That means the dollar will rise against other fiat currencies. Also, profitable companies will earn 10% every year. This is why the stock market is a better investment than gold, because your gold will only make 2% a year, maybe if you're lucky, but the stock market goes up 8% a year on average. That's why all of those that bought gold in the 1920s, their family might be well off, but if they would have put all that money in the Dow Jones, their family would, be unreasonably rich. I don't believe that the petrodollar has any relevance. Eventually is a long time, Matthew. Isn't it why we're all here? Because we think the dollar will collapse eventually. Eventually is a long time. Go read Doug Casey's work from the 80s, early 80s, late 70s, predicting $5,000 gold back in 1982. It's been 45 years. We're not even close. We're closer to zero than we are to 5,000 in gold 45 years later. What does that tell you? I'm not going to automatically buy just because it fell 35%. Things can always keep falling, right? Like I just told you guys, look at the Uber example, right? Let's say because we talked about Uber on Friday, after the fact, of course, right? Like, let's look at the Uber example. I see a 9, but it's not a 9 that I'm going to buy like a blind fool, because this is not a reversal candle. So now I have to wait. Oh, I have a reversal candle. This is interesting. I love reversal candles on 8s, 9s, and following the 9s. That's a reversal candle. Now, what do I need to buy Uber? I'm not buying Uber because it fell to $44.57 at the low. I don't know if that's going to be the low. For all I know, Uber is going to go to 0 today. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, right? Can Uber go to 0 today? Of course it can. Anything can happen, right? Now, where am I looking to buy Uber? Well, ideally, I want to buy it on the candle following the reversal candle. Somewhere in this area of $44.67 on this candle, not the next candle, on this candle. Would I consider buying it on the next candle? Yes. Is it as good of a trade had it happened 10 minutes earlier? No, it's not. It's a much shittier trade because it took place 10 minutes earlier. People don't understand time. If you're going to be a trader and you only care about price, you are missing half of the equation. The other half of the equation is time. It's not about the price. It's also about when that price happens. Okay? Ideally, I want to buy it on this candle. I didn't get a chance to. Would I buy it on this candle? Maybe. If I buy it on that candle, where's my stop loss? Initially, at the swing low. After the big rise, probably move it up, maybe to above break even. When does this whole thing bother me? This whole thing bothers me right here, when a red 2 goes below a red 1. But it's also a sequential 13, which gives me hope. But it's also not the last sequential, because you see right there, 4, 5. There's another one happening, right? That gives me pause. When do I completely say, screw it, Uber is, there's no way I need to be long Uber? When this red 3 starts to go below this red 2, because clearly the red 2 going below a red 1 did not give me was not enough for me, right? If a red 2 going below a red 1 is not enough for me, there's no way in hell I'm going to sit here in Uber as it closes on a new 10-minute closing low, on a red 3 below a red 2, swinging to new lows of day. For all I know, this thing is going to keep going down, okay? Never assume something is ready to rebound. I don't mind catching falling knives when they deserve to be catched. But right here, just because Uber is at 44.50, that means absolutely nothing. The fact that it's at 44.50 means nothing. It's about how it got there and what the candles look like. And sequential helps. Maybe I can take a look at a few more stocks. Matthew, thank you for your little donation. Let me read what you wrote. Tone, thanks for doing what you do. Long-time lurker here. I was able to attend the 2019 Bitcoin conference to watch your presentation this past week. Your presentation had great historical information. Is a copy available? Hope you keep doing what you're doing. Absolutely. So I only had like 15 minutes to speak, which was not ideal. So what you really want to do is you want to go to YouTube, Matthew, and go to the Unconfiscatable conference. And you want to watch my presentation from Unconfiscatable called Bitcoin's Value Proposition. That's where you see the full-blown presentation of what I did at that conference. This is the full one right there. So you see the same slides and everything. And if you go to the description of this video right here, you will, and you click on this Prezi, you will also be able to see the slides from that presentation. Okay, so it's all right there. It's all public. So go ahead and check that out. And I will even reply to you in the chat. Thanks, Matthew. Where are you here? Please check out the Unconfiscatable Conf YouTube. And I will even give you the link right there in the chat. Now, what happened was, at the end of the presentation, my last few slides, this. So because I only had like 10, 15 minutes at Bitcoin 2019, I took this slide and I just talked about it. This is the shitcoin space. And this will probably be my next presentation. It's time to update my presentations. So my next presentation will just talk about the death circle of shitcoins. Let's take a look at a few stocks. I'm on a roll here. I do have work to do. Hey, look at Uber going up. But you know what? I don't care. I don't care that Uber is going up because I don't like this posture. I don't like this. There is nothing here that tells me I need to buy Uber. If I'm buying Uber here, based on my TA, I'm guessing. Now, there's nothing wrong with guessing. You can guess as long as you have good risk management and good stop losses. I would have waited for a better opportunity to buy. I'm just scrolling through a little bit, guys. Thought there was another stock I wanted to look at here, but I don't see it. Was it SRE? Oh boy. Oh boy. That's a nice looking at. Oh, this is a 10-minute chart. Shit, I thought it was a daily chart. This is the kind of 9 I would be buying right now. This is not trading advice by any means. Don't all rush. I don't even know what the hell this company is. I probably shouldn't have said that. This is not trading advice. But look at this. Look how nicely this stock reacts to the 10-minute 9s. If I randomly pulled this up on my, if I randomly pulled this up with my broker and trading account empty, I would be buying right here. Swing trade, very simple. Where's my stop loss? Very easy. But this is the kind of falling knife I would catch on a daily scale. And I'd set a stop loss right there. Such a low risk trade. Such a low risk trade. If you do it right. I mean, if you go 100x leverage, with your entire retirement account, which I don't know if you could, but if you did, you'd be screwed. But this is a beautiful bullish harami on a TD9, even though it's a 10-minute chart. And I don't know how useful TD9s are on a 10-minute chart, but it was clearly useful to you back on Friday here at 10:40 in the morning, and then again at noon, right at noon. So now we're 1 p.m. and I like this. I would totally go long right on this candle. I'd set my stop loss there. So let's not play hindsight. Wish I opened it like 5 minutes earlier. Am I on a delay or not? What's going on here? Real-time data. No, I'm on real-time data. That's good. Doesn't seem to be moving. So I think it was lower when I opened this and I said, but that doesn't matter, right? So, I mean, if this thing goes up, it's probably going to go up into the moving average anyway, right? I mean, that's what I'm looking for. So what's the difference between these lines? 135 entry, 134 and 13 cents on the stop loss. That, or let's say 15 cents. So you are risking 15 cents on a $135 stock. That is like as minimal of a risk as you can get. Like no one can screw this up. Even if you buy 100 shares of this thing, right? You buy 100 shares, you just went $13,500 into this, and your stop loss is 15 cents. So what's 15 cents on 100 shares? That's what, $15? So you're putting you're putting like $13,500 to work, risking 15 bucks. I mean, these are the kinds of trades I want to do. These are the kinds of trades I used to do. How often do they work? Often enough. Though I don't like that this thing isn't moving. What's the volume like? Hope it's not a low volume stock. Oh, I don't have the numbers. They're not displayed. I haven't even looked at what the daily chart looks like, right? I could totally change my mind if I look at the daily chart. Yeah, this would be a straight up day trade. I would not be holding this into tomorrow. Like, this is a trade for the next, before market closes. There is a very low probability that I would hold this trade into the following day, because I can't risk a gap. Like, I'm risking $15 on this trade, and I can't turn that into risking $1,000, right? Like, this thing is in a very bearish posture. We've broken below the moving average. We are establishing a new low close. Basically, even if we rise to like 135 and 67 cents, you know, as a day trade, that's clean, okay? And this thing doesn't seem to be moving, actually. So I may not even be interested anymore. I just saw the chart and I saw the pattern. I didn't actually look at what the stock is, what its average trading volume is, what the daily chart looks like, what the weekly chart looks like. This is the kind of stuff you need to be aware of when earnings is, right? The weekly chart, the weekly still looks good, actually. The weekly is still bullish. Got a 9 coming up next week, pulling back a little bit now. But I was on a 10-minute chart. I thought it was a daily chart, and I'm like, oh my God, that looks amazing. But I'm confident that by end of day, this thing could go up, you know, 35.50. And the point is that it has very low risk. Like, I have no idea what my reward is. I don't know what this company does. They may, you know, find renewable energy for all, and this thing can be $1,000 tomorrow, right? Like, who the hell knows? I just know that my risk is very well defined, and I probably would have got into this thing earlier. Not at 135. I would have got in somewhere in the middle of this candle. And this is, and now I would be out. Okay, so because clearly it's not liquid. Like a $135 stock should not be gapping like that. Like, even Amazon doesn't, right? Like, I saw that it wasn't moving. Like, I don't like how it trades, because I don't know what the stock is. But these are the kinds of setups I would do. And you know, you lose $5, you lose $10, but then you make thousands. And this is why you set your stop loss right there, immediately after your entry. So if that entry had been proper, it would have been literally a $10 risk at 100 shares. Right? That's what you're risking. And only as a day trade, because once I look at the daily picture, there's no way in hell I would have held this thing into the next day. But now I'm happy to go short, because now this thing is going to accelerate down into the countdown phase. Clearly, the 9 didn't hold to the upside. The 10-minute chart here is not interesting to me. And this isn't interesting to me either. It's slow and steady. It's bullish. I'd rather be long than short. I mean, if I was holding it, I'd keep holding it. Wait for the next earnings. All right, guys, I think that's good. Let me see where Bitcoin is. It's still hanging in there at 10.4. Very bearish, though. Yeah, my charts just started updating. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, 10,330. That seems to be the latest price. Yeah, see, I don't like this. I think it's going lower. All right, guys, I got a bunch of stuff to do today, and probably a good time to call it a day. Let me stop screen share. And that's it. Good luck with Bitcoin. I think I'll finally get my 40 to 50% correction on this move. 9,200 is a decent place for Bitcoin to potentially rebound. If it can't, then $6,000 to $7,000 area is a great place for Bitcoin to rebound. But if it can't, we're all in a lot of trouble. All right. Bye, guys.